Welcome to our Books Summary channel, Explore Books.
Today, we will get a summary of another new book.
American Sniper, the Autobiography of the Most Lethal Sniper in U.S. Military History by Chris Kyle, Scott McEwen, and Jim DeFelice is a memoir that details the life and experiences of Chris Kyle, a former United States Navy SEAL who served as a sniper during the Iraq War. The book is divided into 3 parts, with each section focusing on a different period in Kyle's life. Here is a detailed summary of each section. Part 1 of American Sniper, the Autobiography of the Most Lethal Sniper in U.S. Military History by Chris Kyle, Scott McEwen, and Jim DeFelice is titled Bud's Training and SEALs, and it covers Kyle's early life, his decision to join the Navy, and his journey to becoming a Navy SEAL. The section begins with Kyle's childhood in Texas, where he was raised to be a hunter and outdoorsman by his father. Kyle describes how he enjoyed hunting and shooting from a young age, and this interest in firearms would eventually lead him to a career in the military. After a brief stint as a rodeo cowboy, Kyle decided to join the Navy and was eventually accepted into the SEALs. He describes the intense physical and mental training that he underwent during Bud's basic underwater demolition/SEAL, which included everything from running, swimming, and diving to weapons training and hand-to-hand combat. Kyle explains how Bud's was designed to test the limits of its trainees and weed out those who couldn't handle the pressure. Kyle's experiences during SEAL training were not always positive, and he talks about how he struggled with the constant physical and mental challenges. However, he also describes the camaraderie that developed between him and his fellow trainees and the sense of pride he felt in being a part of such an elite group. After completing Bud's, Kyle went on to more specialized training in areas such as sniper operations, reconnaissance, and communications. He eventually joined SEAL Team 3, which was deployed to Iraq in 2003. Part 1 concludes with Kyle's first deployment to Iraq and the challenges he faced as a new member of his unit. Overall, Part 1 of American Sniper provides a detailed and engaging account of Kyle's journey to becoming a Navy SEAL. It highlights the physical and mental toughness required to be a part of this elite group and offers insight into the training and preparation that goes into becoming a SEAL. The section also sets the stage for the rest of the book, which covers Kyle's experiences as a sniper during the Iraq War and his struggles with PTSD after leaving the military. Part 2 of American Sniper, the Autobiography of the Most Lethal Sniper in U.S. Military History by Chris Kyle, Scott McEwen, and Jim DeFelice is titled Iraq War, and it covers Kyle's experiences as a sniper during his 4 deployments to Iraq. The section begins with Kyle's second deployment to Iraq in 2004, where he was tasked with providing overwatch for ground troops and protecting them from enemy fire. Kyle talks about the challenges of being a sniper, including the intense focus required to take a shot and the mental toll it can take on a person. He also describes the camaraderie between him and his fellow SEALs, as well as the relationships he formed with Iraqi soldiers. Kyle's third and fourth deployments to Iraq were even more intense, as he was involved in operations to take down high-value targets and insurgent leaders. He became known as the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history, with over 160 confirmed kills. Kyle talks about the difficulty of taking a human life, even when it's in the line of duty, and how he coped with the mental strain of his job. Throughout Part 2, Kyle also provides insight into the Iraq War itself and the challenges faced by American troops. He talks about the tactics used by the insurgents, the difficulty of fighting in an urban environment, and the impact of the war on the Iraqi people. He also shares personal stories of his interactions with Iraqis, both positive and negative, and reflects on the morality of the war as a whole. Part 2 concludes with Kyle's decision to leave the military after his fourth deployment to Iraq. He describes the mixed feelings he had about leaving the SEALs and the struggles he faced in adjusting to civilian life after years of being in the military. Overall, Part 2 of American Sniper provides a detailed and personal account of Kyle's experiences as a sniper during the Iraq War. It offers insight into the challenges faced by American troops in Iraq, as well as the toll that war can take on a person's mental health. The section also highlights Kyle's bravery and dedication to his job, as well as his reflections on the morality of war. Part 3 of American Sniper, the autobiography of the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history by Chris Kyle, Scott McEwen, and Jim DeFelice is titled Life After the Military, and it covers Kyle's struggles with transitioning back to civilian life after leaving the military. The section begins with Kyle's return home to Texas, where he found it difficult to adjust to the slower pace of civilian life. He talks about the challenges of dealing with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and the toll it took on his relationships with his family and friends. He also shares his experiences with VA, Veterans Affairs, hospitals, and the difficulties he faced in getting the help he needed. Kyle eventually found a sense of purpose in helping other veterans, particularly those struggling with PTSD. He founded a charity called Fitka Cares, which provided fitness equipment and therapy to veterans, and became an advocate for veterans' rights. Kyle also continued to struggle with his own PTSD but found solace in spending time with his family and in his faith. Part 3 also covers Kyle's involvement in the legal case against former Marine Eddie Ray Routh, who murdered Kyle and his friend Chad Littlefield in 2013. Kyle talks about his relationship with Routh and his attempts to help him before the tragic incident occurred. Overall, Part 3 of American Sniper offers a candid and personal account of Kyle's struggles with PTSD and his efforts to help other veterans. It highlights the difficulties that many veterans face when returning to civilian life and the importance of providing support and resources to help them cope. The section also offers insight into Kyle's character and his dedication to serving his country and helping others, even after leaving the military.
Thank you for visiting our channel, Explore Books. We hope you found the summary informative and helpful. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more updates. Happy reading!